Yes, what's up friends? We've been sent another package from our friends down at Syntech, and this I believe is the Fifine K690. I'm excited to take a look at what this little microphone holds, so let's do an unboxing and I'll hit you with a review. Let's go. Cool friends, so today we're unboxing the K690 from Fifine. It comes in a slick white box with a burst of red trim. We lift the lid to see form-fitting foam that houses all our goodies. Taking a look at the contents, we have our male to female screw adapter, we have a connection USB cable, as well as the sizable matte black K690 microphone. Taking the microphone out is a lot of fun. You just plonk it on the desk and it is ready to go. The stand swings out and you just tighten it into place with the nuts on either side. Looking at the features on the front of the microphone, we have our headphone volume control button, as well as the mute button and a LED power indicator. On the back of the microphone, we have our polar pattern selection dial, as well as our microphone gain dial on top. Now to take a closer look at our connection cable, which is something really awesome. It is a 2 meter long Type A to Mini B USB cable, and it sports the Fifine logo on the metallic tips. It's very well built and the extra length is just really welcome. Looking underneath the microphone, we have our thread port to mount it on a boom arm. We also have a 3.5mm audio jack, as well as the USB jack for our cable. Plugging it in, we see the green LED light up, indicating that the microphone has power. Right, now to take a look at our tech specs, we have a frequency response rate of 20 Hz to 20 kHz, a sensitivity rating of -45 dB to about 3 dB, a max SPL of 130 dB, and a signal to noise ratio of 65 dB. Unboxing done and dusted. That was a lot of fun to do. True to Fifine fashion, their unboxing experience is just flawless. It is always fun to open a Fifine product. I did a review of the K690 a little while ago, and I can only describe this microphone as the K690's older brother who went to the gym. So this is a USB multi-pattern condenser microphone. We took a look at some of the features and the buttons in the unboxing section, but just to recap for you, we have 2 turning dials on the back of the microphone. I know it's the side that you're seeing. You have the top one, which is your gain. Below that you have your pickup pattern selection, so you can pick one of 4. On my side, which is actually the front of the microphone, we have the Fifine logo. We have the mute button, which is a lot of fun to push, and then we have below that our headphone button, which allows us to control the volume of our headphones, or how much of ourselves we can hear, and that doesn't affect our recording. Now, usually I babble on for ages, but I think this time around let's save some time and let's jump straight into our pros and cons. Let's take a look at our pros. Number 1, build quality. I think this is obviously something that is just really consistent with the K series from Fifine. The microphones that I've used, they're just built so well. I mean, it's got a good weight to it. It's a McGregor of a microphone. Don't get me wrong. It's a biggie, but it's built really well. And you know, when you see something metallic and it looks like it should be heavy and you go to pick it up and it's light and it's flimsy, you don't get that with this. It is just solid, straight down to the core. The buttons feel great. It's like this mute button in front. I just push it most of the time for the sake of pushing it, not even for functionality. It just feels good, and the dials turn smoothly. There's a little bit of resistance on them, which is quite cool. It gives it a quality feeling, but it also gives you peace of mind that the dials aren't going to turn out of place if you bump the microphone or turn by themselves. So hats off to Fifine for maintaining an excellent standard of quality. Number 2, sound quality. Now, having personally used a number of microphones for different applications and various delivery styles over the past few years, I have to say that there are no glaring shortcomings on this microphone. Versus some of my entry-level professional microphones, this microphone really holds its own. And one of the things that I was worried about on the K690 was that the low end dropped off a little bit early, so it wasn't too prominent on the low end, and you don't have that problem with this microphone. And that's probably good news for you movie trailer type individuals. You know, this December at a cinema near you. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Number 3, functionality. Now, I've always liked the functionality on the Fifine microphones because they give you a lot of control, right? And one thing about this microphone in particular is they've offered you the option of 4 polar patterns. So you can pick between an omnidirectional, a stereo, cardioid, or a figure 8 polar patterns or pickup patterns. You don't get this option on a couple of the other microphones I've seen, so I think that's good. Just to touch on stereo very quickly, because I know it's not something that comes up too often, or at least we haven't spoken about it on this channel. Stereo is very simply that it picks up on the left and the right, and there's a crossover section where it picks up in the middle, so the front of the microphone, and that's quite good for recording instruments like acoustic guitars, or for you weirdos out there who like ASMR. Stranger danger. Number 4, and this is quite simply just because it's a USB microphone. Well, let me say not just because. It's a USB microphone and therefore it's easy enough to set up. You know that some microphones you get those puny little short cables. Not with this one. You have a rather lengthy cable over here. I've actually connected to my laptop behind there, and as you can see, there's still tons of cable to play with. Talking price very quickly, the recommended selling price is just over 2 grand, 2,000 rand that is. I think the actual price is 2,139 rand, so I think that's a very fair price for everything that you're getting. Okay, but serious talk now. No microphone is without sin. Let's take a look at the cons. Number 1. You only have an option of recording in 16-bit depth, which is fine in the beginning if you want to fire off a quick recording to a client because they're just worried about it sounding good, and you definitely don't have to worry about it sounding good with this microphone. It's going to be good. The only problem with the 16-bit only option is that if you're ever going to send audio to a professional studio, or maybe if you want to try and do audiobooks, the specifications for recording are very particular for stuff like that. And overall, you just have a lot less headroom on a 16-bit depth recording than you would have on maybe a 24-bit or a 32-bit recording. Number 2, and this is a bit of an odd gripe because I do think Fifine has remedied this for some of their microphones. I just can't find it for this K690 in particular, and that is a shock mount. So I think there's no denying that this is a desktop microphone. No denying that. Fifine has actually gone out of their way to allow or to make this threading underneath here so that you can mount this microphone on a boom arm and then move it to wherever you want it to go. The only problem with that is it's directly connected to the boom arm, so any bumps or anything on the desk or in the area will be felt in your audio. That's usually remedied by a shock mount. In this case, I don't know if there is any shock mount for this microphone. I have seen shock mounts with the K690. That's quite a cool one, but I haven't seen anything for this microphone. You could also find a generic shock mount that fits this microphone, but then you don't have access to the buttons at the back, which can be a little bit frustrating. You could, of course, preset all your dials and then put the mic into the shock mount and use it like that, but that seems like a lot of work for a microphone that's actually already quite easy to just pop up and use. Another little thing with that is if you're using it in desktop mode like this, which is really quite comfortable, I think I could do a really good delivery because it's quite a sizable microphone. I could do a relatively good delivery with it in this desktop mode. I just don't know where I would mount my pop filter. I could mount it on my desk, but most of my pop filters have an odd... Actually, let me just show you. So if you can see there, the pop filter grip, it's designed actually to go around things that are cylindrical or maybe squared off. So when you try to attach that on a desk, it doesn't really sit nicely. That's probably the pop filter's fault. That's an error with the pop filters. But at the end of the day, it is something just to consider, just to keep in mind where you would put your pop filter if you bought this microphone. Number 3. There's no number 3. Those are pretty much the only 2 things that I could find that were a little bit worth mentioning. I think overall this microphone is really handy. To sum it up, I'd say the price is fantastic. The quality you're getting for it, the functionality is awesome, especially with the multiple polar patterns or pickup patterns. You can use this microphone for podcasting, for voiceovers, for vlogging. You could use it for just about anything you could imagine, even recording music. That's the one I left out. So just before you go, I wanted to let you know that I've been using this microphone for the entirety of this video. So this will give you an idea of what you could be creating from an audio aspect right at your studio or in your studio at home. On that note, I got to run. I'm sure somebody needs a voiceover somewhere. But in the comment section, guys, let me know if you enjoyed the video. Let me know what microphone you use at home and if you would upgrade to this one. And of course, what other products or microphone stuff or whatever, what would you like to see me review next? I will try to find it and get that to you ASAP. Until then, my name is Temper Robin. This has been a review on Sketchy Tech. Have a good week. Yeah, have a good week.